Hello virtual Voyagers, it's Riley from HCS 100, and sometimes your tire goes flat while you're operating your vehicle, and it's useful to know how to fix it and swap out the spare. So today, I wanted to teach you a little bit more about that. Now I've only been driving for 2 years, and I know that I've had to fix my tire at least 3 times. But luckily my father told me beforehand a couple tips to help me, and hopefully reviewing this today, I can show you a couple tips to make your lives a little bit easier on the road. So keeping safety as our utmost priority, we have to understand the whole process as a precaution. Okay, so our first step is that we have to park our vehicle on level ground, put on our emergency brake with our hazards for our vehicle's safety, and then we want to come around to the trunk here so we can get our materials assembled. So the first place we want to look is in our spare wheel compartment. It's usually under this cover here. You can see our spare wheel here, and now we just got to get our wrench and jack. And some cars, they may be in the compartment, but others, they have this side panel here that you can undo that have the materials inside. Alright, so now that we have all of our equipment assembled by our flat tire, we can start to elevate it. But a little tip is, we have to crack these lug nuts 1 or 2 revolutions beforehand, because once we elevate it, it'll be a little bit more difficult to break that lock that it has on them. And when we place our jack, we want to make sure that we place it about 1 foot to the right of the wheel on a specific designated plate. If you have trouble finding it, you could probably look in your owner's manual. That's a good place to check for any questions on this topic, because it's your car, it's not mine. When we elevate it, we want to make sure it's tightly secured up with our hand up to the plate, and then you can use your wrench in however manner you can get it to elevate it a little bit more. You have to turn it clockwise to lift, counterclockwise to lower. And you can tell that you're done lifting because this wheel will have around 1 inch or 2, a little bit more. You want to make sure it'll slide on easy of space, just for convenience. All right. So now that we have our vehicle up, elevated on the jack, we can remove our flat tire and put on our spare. But first we have to unfasten any remaining lug nuts, and you want to keep them safely aside so that they don't roll into the grass, because you're going to need them for your spare. Now this rim comes right off after you get the lug nuts too, so keep that to the side. Now in a real life scenario, you probably want to put this tire in your trunk just so it isn't in the way of any road dwellers. And then when you put this spare tire on, you want to have the concave side facing it so it has room to fill in the wheel well. And you want to insert these 5 prongs onto the little cutouts here in the rim. Let's see if I can line it up. Yeah, just like that. Alright, so now we can tighten our lug nuts, but when we make sure that we tighten the lug nuts onto the spare to keep them secure, this will probably help you get the spare even on it. You want to make sure you do them in opposing order. So the first one I did was this lug nut, and now we're going to go across on the opposite side of the wheel to this one and tighten it just a little bit tighter. This is so that it's evenly secured around the whole wheel, and it'll help you later, or even earlier, getting the wheel onto the well with the prongs. Now once we lower the jack and it's on the ground, the bolts or the lug nuts should be tightly secured, but we have to make sure to give them 1 more rotation or just 1 more good go, because once the weight's back on the vehicle, it's going to loosen up on the lug nuts a bit. Okay, so now that we have our vehicle lowered off the jack and we have the spare tire on with the lug nuts secured, we can return all of our equipment to its designated spot in the trunk. Now, in conclusion, it's always nice to know how to fix a spare tire in case of the real life scenario. But in no means am I asking you to go out and practice this at home, because I know that's not practical. What you may want to do is go over a little checklist I made, because you want to stay prepared in case it ever does happen, so you want to know if you're missing anything. And the checklist for if your tire goes flat is you want to have a jack, a wrench, a spare tire, and most importantly, your car.